It's Miss Perkins, and I wanted to come on and make a video going over the details of the animal notebook that we started today. We will technically start on Monday for sure doing the work that we need to in the notebook, but I introduced it today and was kind of getting some questions from the students, and there was a paper that was sent home with some details, and I'll go over that as well as show you kind of what I expect and some materials that you will need for the notebook. I do want to go over that it is due on February 20th. That way we can get the grade in for the 4th 6 weeks. And it is a pretty big amount for their grade in the 4th 6 weeks. I have a rubric here that each student will get when I do grade them at the end when the project is actually due. And I'll go over that as well as how much each category counts, and then each of the categories, of course. So the first thing is this is the notebook that they got. Okay, it has pretty much everything in it that they will need to do the project. We went through it today. They were able to look at it, go through it, ask questions about it. We went through one section, the mammal section, the first one, and talked about each of the things that each section will have. And that is also on your note here. Your note just kind of explains that we're learning how to classify animals. And we've learned about vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates have backbones. Invertebrates do not, and there are 5 smaller classifications of vertebrates, as in mammals, fish, amphibian, reptile, and birds. And in this project, we will organize it. We'll kind of construct a book. We're going to use those binders that I asked for you to bring in, and with that, I do want to make sure that you all bring in a binder that has the plastic on the front, because we will be putting in a cover to everybody's binders, and it needs to be able to go into the plastic, not be, taped on front of it. And a lot of them have really cute binders, but it needs to have the one with the plastic. And 1.5 inch binder is perfect. We don't need to get very big on these. But that is the binder that we will need. We will need it at the end of the project. It will be done mostly in the book or with the book together, and then at the end we'll rip it out, we'll put it in sheet protectors, and then put it in the binder for the final project to be turned in. So just to kind of get us started, there are 6 sections in the animal notebook that we will be doing, and we'll do each part separately. There'll be a check-in date for each of the parts that I will look at their books. They will keep them in the classroom. Right now they're in a cart at the back of the room, and that's kind of where they'll stay. They don't go home and stay there. They don't stay at school all the time. They'll be coming back and forth, but when they're not being used or when I'm checking them, they will return to that cart. But there is a mammal section, a fish section, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and then invertebrates. And so we'll do each of those sections as we go. The first one, of course, is mammals, and we will start that one on Monday next week, and I will check that one on the 20th. So that gives us a little bit of time to start on it, kind of get everybody's feet wet on what they're supposed to do. If they have any questions, they can ask at that point. And then I will check them again on the 20th in January. Then the fish. So after I check it, then I'll kind of instruct them to go on and move to the fish. And I will look at that section on the 27th of January. And then, again, we'll go to the birds, and I will look at that one on the 3rd of February. The reptiles will be checked on the 10th of February, and the amphibians and invertebrates will be checked together on the 17th. And then after that check-in, we'll kind of work together to tear out all the pages and get those put in sheet protectors and in the binders to get it ready to turn in on the 20th of February for a final grade. And so with that being said, I do ask for parent participation and help with this. I'm doing a lot of it here in class as well, but there'll be a few things that I need help with at home that they can do when they're there. There'll be a lot that they can do here, but I do need your help with stickers, pictures, maybe even some of the animal reports that we'll get to here in a second. But each of these sections, so each 6 sections has different parts, and they're all listed when they bring home their books for the first time, they're all listed here in the table of content. And so each of them have the same sections within them. And if you look here, it says title page, characteristics, report, and pictures. And that will be in every single one of them, and it'll look about the same. It'll just be different classifications. The first one will be mammals, then you'll move into the different ones. And we will fill those in into our book, and a lot of them are, again, back in the very back of the book in their animal glossary. They've got the animal characteristics, they've got some fun facts, they've got some animal information for their animal report, and all of that kind of stuff in the back of their book. So we'll start by looking at a few sections. So the first one is going to be their title page. This is the page that we're going to eventually rip out and put on the front of their binder. So it'll just say My Animal Notebook, and then I want a picture of them. Just got married, so I have a lot of wedding pictures, but just put a picture of them right there with an animal, or them by themselves, them with their family, just, you know, signaling that this is their animal notebook. And then at the bottom, they'll put their name, the date we start, which will be the 9th, and then they'll put my name at the bottom. And again, this will go on the front in that plastic when they get those binders here towards the end of the project, and that's why I asked that you get one that has the plastic on the front that we can slide this down into. And then the next page, if we turn over, will be the title page of the mammals. So I've kind of done the mammal section already to go over kind of an example. And so you just kind of create and decorate the bottom of this page. I instructed them not to cover up the mammal. I need to know what section it is, as well as the Bible verse down at the bottom. And so you just put pictures, stickers, you can draw and color, just be creative. And then if you look in the spine, hope you can see that. If you look in the spine, there is directions right there on each page, and it just says directions, decorate this page. So you will have directions on each of the pages there to kind of help you along. But this will be the cover sheet or the title page for the mammals, and that will be inside the first page inside of our binder. And then you'll flip it over. This is going to be the characteristics page. Again, the characteristics page or information will be in the very back on page 99. And so I just copied that onto the lines on this one, and then they can again decorate the page on the bottom. I do ask that they use erasable pens. So there's a lot of different kinds of erasable pens, and I want black or blue ink. So those are the only colors that they can use, and it needs to be a erasable pen. I prefer pen because it is darker than pencil, so I can see it a little bit easier, as well as I ask them to try to do it in cursive writing, so we can keep practicing the cursive writing that we've learned. So just write it very neatly. I do take off points, and I do count for neatness, so I need to be able to read it. So you'll number them exactly the way that it is in the back of the book. So I numbered 1 through 5 and then wrote those there. And then you could just decorate this with another picture or different stickers. So that's the characteristic page. And then this is going to be my mammal report. So they're going to pick one animal, in this case in these sections, so one mammal, and they're going to write about it. So they can go back to the back of the book, and there are some examples. And so they have some information sheets about them, like there's the black bear and different things like that. And they've got information that they can just copy down. And then they've also got the picture on the back of the animal. So they can copy it down if they choose to. Or I told them that they could research an animal on their own. The only criteria that I ask for is that their animal report be at least 4 sentences. We're going to try to work on making paragraphs and 3rd grade paragraphs. So 4 sentences, they can be bigger, but they just need to fit on this page. This is the only page that you have for the animal notebook or the animal report, excuse me. So they need to have it in this page and you know, write on the lines nicely. You know, I had a student ask me, what if I have 100 sentences and I write very, very, very small on this page? I do want to read it. I do want to understand what they're talking about and what animal they're talking about. So just write it neatly on this page. So that is the animal report. And then the last part, they have quite a few pages from page 7 all the way to page 16, are just blank pages. And they are going to come up with pictures. They can use magazines, they can use old books, they can use drawings, they can use stickers, anything like that. But they're going to come up with mammal pictures and they're going to put them on these pages. With the pictures, they have to be labeled. So I have to know what kind of animal each of the pictures are. So if I were to put a picture of a polar bear, I would have to put polar bear underneath of them. Again, writing in erasable pen and writing in cursive, black or blue ink, the name of the animal. I did get asked, what if I put a picture of my dog? Do I put his name? I'm fine with you putting his name, but I do need to know if he's a German Shepherd, a Chocolate Lab, a Beagle, whatever it may be. I need to know what kind of dog he is. Then you can put in parentheses or underneath of it the name of your dog. But that is the pictures, and they need to have at least 5 pictures for each section. So 5 pictures of mammals starting here. The pictures at the front do not count. I start counting right here for the 5 pictures. So 5 pictures, and they can fill up how many ever pages. There has been years in the past that I have given an extra point for any pictures above 5, but I will let you know for sure if I'm doing that this year. Here soon, but 5 at least, and that will put a total of 30 pictures into the whole project. So 6 sections, 5 pictures in each. We've been working on multiplication, so that's 6 times 5, so 30 pictures in all. So that is the whole section, and then you'll just move into the birds, and it'll be the exact same thing. And they have the characteristics in the back for them to copy down, and all of that kind of stuff. So that is each of the sections. I know that there'll probably be more questions, and that is fine. Just kind of, send me a message if you want to, and I'll try to answer as much as I can. This video is trying, though, to kind of show you what I expect, as well as what to expect on your end. There will be times where they will be doing most of the characteristic work in class, and then the animal reports and the pictures will be sent home to do before those check-in dates. But I will let them, that will be part of their homework, so I'll have them write it down in their planner those nights or those weekends that they are working on this. So you will have a heads up. It won't just be, out of the blue. But we'll work together to get these completed. Each student is very creative in their own way, and so I just ask that they be unique, be creative, don't pick the same thing as someone else just to be picking the same thing. There may be some overlapping, and that is perfectly fine. If they live in separate houses and they pick the same animal for their animal report, I'm not going to count off because it's just, something that happens. But that is our animal notebook, and like I said, I asked the students to keep this very, very neat. If a page happens to rip out, just make sure it's kept in the book because we will need it at the end. And if all of the sections are not there, I do take points off. So just make sure that it's all here together at the end when we start putting it in their binder. Let's see where we left off. So with the rubric. So this is what I give every student at the end. It'll be in their binder in the back or the front, and it'll have their name, and it will have the number of points each section has that they have received or earned, and then it'll have a final grade on the bottom. So they can make 100, of course, and that depends on if I give extra points or not, and I'll let you know that again. But I go over the title page. So if they've got the cover and the title page, the cover being the one that's going to go on the outside of the binder. If they've got that, they've got their picture in it, then they, get a check for that. Then if they have the title page for every section, so they've got 6 title pages for each of them. So like a mammal title page, a bird title page, and so on. They will get 7 points because there is 6 title pages and then 1 cover. So a point each, and they get 7 points for those. Then we move into the characteristics. So I kind of go through each of the sections. So the characteristics are worth 25 points. It's pretty simple. Just copy it from the back onto the lines, and they are 25 points each for all 6 of them. And I'll probably take about, 3 to 4 points if one's missing. But have all of them there, and they get 25 points. Same for the reports, 25 points there as well. And then the pictures are 30 points. So a total, there's 30 pictures, so a picture with a point. And then if they don't have all 30, then they miss a point for however many pictures they don't have. And then neatness. Neatness is one of the things that I really strive to encourage, and it is worth 7 points. So this is going to be if their handwriting is neat, if the notebook is kept up neat, if the pages aren't ripped, the pictures are neatly, pasted in and put in there with some thought. Just overall neatness. Because we all know that we can look at someone and someone else's and tell which one's the neater. And so just working on neatness there. And then that is worth 7 points again. And then mechanics. Mechanics is kind of difficult to understand when you hear the word mechanics in a science project. But mechanics are going to include spelling, punctuation, capitalization, and sentence structure. We've been working a lot on those things in language, and so the students should know how to do a sentence, they should know how to spell words. If they don't, they have the computer, they have the books, they have the words and the information in the book with them. They're, at their hands. So they should be able to just copy it and not mess the spelling up. But they've been talking about punctuation and capitalization and sentence structure for the whole entire year. And so I'll take 6 points, or those are weighted 6 points. So I'll take a point off for every mistake that I find. I don't typically find a lot of mistakes with that, but I do look for it. And so just work really hard to kind of make all of those things correct, and then you won't have to worry about those points. And again, those add up to 100 points. And so I'll have your grade on the bottom of this paper when you get it back, and then you'll be able to see what you get. But I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's projects. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's learning that they're going to be doing while we do this project. I think everybody was very interested in learning the classifications of animals. And so just kind of going back through and talking more about them and showing what they have learned by doing the project. One other thing, the invertebrates, a lot of them like to say that insects are the only invertebrates. They're not. And so you can look back in the book. I'm sure that the Animal Notebook booklet that they got, this has some examples in the very back. We sometimes don't think about them, but coral reefs and all of those kind of things that live in the sea are also invertebrates because they do not have backbones. So just kind of be creative in the ones you pick. Don't all pick, insects for the invertebrate. There are a lot of other cool invertebrates out there. We get to the last part of it on how I grade them. I kind of tried to explain this with the students, but again, it's kind of hard to understand. But I start out with the cover, so what goes on the front of the binder, and then the title pages inside of each section. So if you have the cover, you have all 6 title pages, you get 10 points. Okay, then you have the characteristics. So if I have all 6 characteristic pages filled in, I'm creative with my pictures and my decorations, then I get 16 points. Then the reports. This is where we get a little bit more heavy on our points because it's a lot more work on these pages. So the reports, if I have all 6 report pages and I have done my best, I have 4 sentences at least, I've done everything that, Ms. Perkins has told me to write down, where they live, what do they eat, a fun fact about them. Okay, I will get 25 points for all 6 of those reports. Then you move into the pictures. I said there was a total of 30 pictures, so a picture counts as 1 point each. So if I have all 30 pictures, I get 30 points. Each picture that you do not have, I take a point off. And then neatness. I'm really big on neatness, handwriting, the pictures being, pasted or taped neatly. Just overall neatness is going to be a total of 13 points. And I'll take off as much as I feel like needs to be taken off reasonably. But we all know that we can be a little bit neater when it comes to projects sometimes. So just work on keeping it neat and try your best. We try to be our best for God, and we should do that in anything we do, work, play, whatever it may be. So just do your best on this, and I have no worries. And then we move to the last part of it is mechanics. So mechanics is any spelling, punctuation, capitalization, or sentence structure mistakes. And so all of those can be a total of 6 points, and I will take off as mistakes that I find. Maybe 1 point here, half a point there. And so just try your best on working with those things that we have been talking about the beginning of the year. in the spelling, in the punctuation, the capitalization, the sentences. Write a whole sentence, a complete sentence. Has to have a predicate and a subject. Okay, and then put the punctuation, the correct punctuation. We've talked about punctuation. We know which sentences have which punctuation. What letters need to be capitalized. We should already know this. So just remember to add those in there. I know sometimes we start writing really quickly and then we forget. But take your time, write it down there, make sure you don't have any mistakes. With spelling, a lot of the information should be in a book or online, so they can just copy it down. Should not have any mistakes on the spelling. But that is on that paper that they were sent home with today. And if you have any questions, just send me a message. I will try to answer as soon as I can and be as informative as I can as well with that. But I hope this video kind of showed you a insight on what I expect. Again, if you have any questions, let me know and I will try to get back to you.